All right, so we have our ice cream or our popsicles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a, a rectangle around it using my marquee. To get my marquee, I hit M and it gives me my marquee. So M, and I'm just going to click rectangular marquee and I'm going to draw a marquee around my popsicles. Next thing I want to do is I want to go to my adjustments. So I want to make sure that I have no other colors in here. Sometimes when you use the brightness and contrast, you get some brighter colors like that yellow that we got in the corner of our document. This time I want to make sure there's no other colors. I could change my mode to grayscale, but because I want to work in color in the next layer, I'm just going to do a black and white adjustment layer. So I'm going to click black and white. And this is a destructive adjustment layer, meaning a layer won't show up when I make it. So I'm going to click OK. And now I know that it's black and white and I didn't get any extra layers. So what I'm going to do is going to go to Edit and go down to Copy. I'm just going to copy it. You can also hit Control C or Command C. So I'm going to open a new document now. New document. I'm going to go to Art and Illustration and I'm going to click on 1000 pixel grid. I'm going to title this I think it's line, shape, and form / pop art. All right, and I'm gonna make sure that I have 150 pixels. I don't need it at 300. It's gonna be made just for a screen. When you're dealing with resolution, screens are usually 150. I mean, you can have a high definition screen, but most laptops and computers, the internet uses 150, so we're just gonna save it at 150. And we're gonna click create. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to edit now and I'm gonna paste in my new document. It automatically shows up in a new layer. So let me title that layer. So I'm gonna title it original. And I'm gonna click on my move tool, which is the top key. It's also your V key. If you can't find it, hit your V key. And I want to make sure in my options bar at the very top here that I have my show transform controls on. So when I have my transform controls on, you get these little handles at different points on the picture. So I don't know if my settings are the same as yours, but if you are resizing and your thing is distorting like this, hold down your shift key and that allows you to keep your resizing standard. So I'm holding my shift key as I resize. Not every Photoshop setting is like that. Your settings might be default and you might not need to hold a shift key. The shift key actually messes it up. So depending on your settings, I think I might have reset mine over time. And if you're using a school computer, you'll still need to hold down shift. But maybe on the newer versions of Adobe, you might not need to hold down shift anymore. So when I get it the way that I want, I can rotate it by coming over to a corner, and I'm just going to rotate mine just a little bit, and then I'm going to click the check mark to confirm the changes that I'm open my I'm going to grab my my background textures. So I'm going to go file, place embedded, and I'm going to find my background textures. I think they're on my desktop, pop art resources. I'm going to go with texture rough. You can choose any of these that you like, but I'm going to go with the rough one just to get a little bit more texture in there. So it doesn't cover my design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure transform is on again, or it's actually for this time you won't need it, but I'm just going to hold down shift and option or alt at the same time, and I'm just going to make it bigger than my page and click check mark. All right, so if I zoom out, my background texture is really large compared to the page, but that's fine. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to come over to my layer. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say rasterize. And what rasterize means is I'm changing it from a vector shape into, or a smart object in this case, into a picture. So right now it's not a picture, so I'm going to make it into a picture. So now it's a picture, and you can see that the little symbol in the corner is gone. That means it's now a raster. I'm just going to drag that shape below the other layers, that texture layer below the other layers, and then let's move on. So what I want to do now is I want to start um, filling in my um, my design. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my magic wand. You can hit W on your keyboard. If you don't get the magic wand, you can hit Shift W, and that goes through all the tools in one place. But or you can just hold down here and then click on the magic wand. So I'm going to click in this first one. Make sure I'm on my original layer. I'm going to click, and I get everything on the original layer. And what I'm going to do with that shape is I'm going to click on my texture layer now with it still selected, and I'm going to say edit, copy, or you could say right click, layer via copy, and it creates a new layer. I'm just going to drag that up, and I'm going to title that pop top. I just try to be descriptive with my titles. I could have titled it anything, but I'm just going to say the popsicle top. All right, so I'm going to go back to my original layer now, and I'm going to get the middle section. So this time I want to get more than just the section that I have. So I'm going to click Shift, and I'm going to click on the middle right here, and click on the end, and you're just selecting what you want to all be the same color. So I want this left one, the middle one, and the right one to all be the same color. So I'm going to go back to my texture layer. I'm going to click right click, layer via copy, and a new layer shows up. I'm going to title this one middle 3. All right. And again, I'm just trying to be descriptive with my names. And the next one, when I do the other sides, it's going to be middle 2. So I'm going to come back to my original. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to texture layer, right click, say layer via copy. And if you haven't figured out what we're doing, we're literally just copying the blue from the other page, from the other layer, and just pasting it in its own layer. So I'm going to say middle 2, and I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to do top 2. Go back to my thing, and you can make these panels larger. So I'm just going to double click this to make it smaller, and double click this to make that smaller. So now I'm going to have more room for my all the layers that I'm going to have. So I'm going to say right click, layer via copy, and drag that above it. So I'm going to rename this. So double click on the title. I'm going to call this pop top 2. I'm actually going to drag it way up here to the top. Now let's do the bottom part. So I'm going to click right here. Again, I want to make sure that I'm getting all the same colors, and click on my texture, right click, layer via copy, drag that up, and I'm going to call this one bottom 3. And depending on the picture that you chose, your layer order and your titles will all be different. Right? And then again, I'm going to click on original. I'm going to do the same for these. Click on texture again, layer via copy, bottom 2. And now I'm going to do the stick. And right click, layer via copy, and stick, and drag that in. I actually might go back and change this whole stick color, because I'm pretty sure the stick is a little bit of a different color inside the popsicle. So I might go back and make that middle column different. So I'm going to just click on that real quick. This one, and I'm going to go to texture, layer via copy. I have to put it above the other ones because it's going to cover those up, since I'm not going to go back and redo those. Stick, middle. All right, so I'm just going to turn off my texture layers so that we can work on this image now.